Welcome back. Time now for a check of weather with Nutrien's Eric Snodgrass. Eric, we are in Des Moines this week for World Pork Expo. This has to be the best weather in at least a decade for World Pork Expo. Highs in the 70s. The sun is out. It is ideal weather. They did get rain, though, earlier this week, and it was needed in some areas, Eric.
Yeah, it really was needed throughout much of the central and western corn belts. Unfortunately, it did come through with some severe weather. We had some pretty nasty storms that ripped through the central part of the United States. But, kind of this brings up this question, right? We've been talking for weeks about this summer drought risk. And a lot of folks are saying, well, where is it? And I'm just going to tell you this. If you look at the precipitation ranks by climate district, going back to the beginning of April, one of the things that was terribly predicted, we did not do a good job with this, was how wet the southern plains were. And because the southern plains were so wet, what it's done is it's taken our overall drought risk for much of the western corn belt and central corn belt. It's taken it down. Pre-season, it was at 60%. Now I'd say it's down there around 45% based on historical analogs. Now, you go anywhere east of where you are, Tyne, and I'll tell you, there are folks in parts of like Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and then getting over into parts of Ohio that are just like, turn it off. I don't want another drop of rain. Whereas, to be honest, from Nebraska into Iowa, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, we do need more rain to get into the picture. So yes, enjoy the beautiful weather. I'm down in Southern California. It was 101 yesterday. I would much rather be with you than here, and in terms of temperatures. So, but that's our story this spring so far.
Yeah, it has been a wet spring. So, Eric, as you look now over June and really the next couple of weeks, what are you watching? Are we going to turn wetter? Are we going to turn drier?
Well, the models right now are turning drier for really kind of an epicenter around Iowa, but that's not a bad thing, okay? And it's not set in stone. So if you kind of look at the next, 14 days, overall, we're in a drier pattern in Iowa. And we need to get some heat on the crop, to be honest with you. We've got to get it jumping out of the ground. So there's not going to be a whole lot of early complaint about a drier stretch in parts of the western corn belt, especially where you are right now. But at some point, we got to bring some rains back. And if that doesn't come back at the end of June, beginning of July, then we start to ring the alarm bells and start to get a little more concerned.
Okay, so real quick, though, we've been talking about drought. We've been talking about it with you since late winter, really, when we were at Top Producer Summit. So, Eric, has your outlook for dryness this summer changed?
It has. Like I mentioned, we've gone from about a 60% risk in the western corn belt down to about 45%. Now, that's still 15% higher than the average. The average is about 30% chance of developing drought in the middle of summer. But if you have a look at these ocean temperatures, you're going to see that it is still cold off the west coast of North America. And that's one of the signals that tells me to just say, hey, we're not out of the woods yet on full summer heat, hot and dry conditions. It's just been pushed down the road. It wasn't a May and June thing. It's looking more later in the season. And just this morning, we had brand new long-range weather forecast data come out from our most trusted model. It's called the ECMWF, and it's pulling in summer dryness into the central United States. If you look and just see, it's got the greatest risk of being off normal in terms of precip right in the middle part of the United States. And at the same time, if you look at the temperature map, it's got us pretty hot. But it's July, August, and September. And we all know we can still lose yield later in the season. But if these forecasts verify, we are going to kind of flip the script on where we've been this spring, right? This spring, it's been about cool weather and too much rainfall, especially south of us. And then we could get into this summer where all of a sudden there's a whole new narrative.
Eric Snodgrass with Nutrien, thank you so much for joining us this weekend. We need to take a quick break. And then when we talk about tariffs, is it impacting export demand? Plus, we'll have an outlook on hog prices for the rest of the year. A marketing discussion from right here at World Pork Expo happens next.